The phone slipped from Daniel's hand and clattered onto the hospital floor as the monitor behind the glass screamed. Not a gentle beep. Not a warning. A long, unbroken sound that told everyone in the corridor the same thing at the same time. Something had gone wrong, and it was happening now. "Nurse! Nurse!" Daniel shouted, already running before anyone answered. His sister Ada grabbed his arm. "Daniel, wait!" He shook her off and pressed his face to the glass. Their mother lay still, eyes half open, chest barely moving. A doctor rushed in, then another. Hands moved fast, voices overlapped. Someone pushed Daniel back. "Sir, you can't be here." "But it's Christmas morning," Daniel said, as if that explained everything. "She has to make it to Christmas morning." No one replied to that. 3 weeks earlier, Daniel had knelt on the cold tiles of his bedroom and prayed harder than he ever had in his life. He hadn't prayed fancy prayers. He hadn't quoted scriptures. He just said, "Please, please, please," over and over until his throat burned and his eyes swelled. He promised God anything. Better obedience, better faith, better son. He didn't ask for money or success or miracles that would impress anyone else. He asked for one thing: let his mother live long enough to see Christmas. When he finished praying, he sat on the floor and waited for peace to come. It didn't. But he told himself that didn't matter. Faith didn't always feel good. Faith was believing even when your chest stayed tight. By the first week of December, the house smelled like antiseptic and old food. Daniel's mother had been moved from hospital to home care. Tubes ran from her nose. Machines hummed softly in the living room. The Christmas tree stood in the corner, half decorated, lights tangled, ornaments still in their box. "We should finish it," Ada said one evening, holding a gold bauble. "She likes it bright." Daniel looked at their mother, asleep, her breathing shallow. "What if she doesn't wake up to see it?" Ada snapped. "What if she does?" So they finished decorating. Daniel plugged in the lights. They blinked on, cheerful and wrong. Church people came every day. Some brought food. Some brought oil. Some brought loud prayers that filled the room and made Daniel want to scream. They spoke in confident voices, the kind people used when they were sure God was on their side. "She will live," one woman declared. "I have peace about it." Daniel stood by the door and nodded. Inside, something twisted. He wanted to believe her. He hated her for believing so easily. That night, he whispered to his mother, "You're going to be fine, okay?" Her eyes fluttered open. "Daniel," she murmured, "don't let them bully you." His throat closed. "Who?" "Life," she said faintly. "And God." He laughed softly. "You're the one who taught us to pray." "Yes," she said. "And I also taught you to tell the truth." By Christmas Eve, the house was full. Cousins slept on the floor. A pot of rice sat untouched on the stove. Christmas music played from someone's phone. Too loud, then too quiet. At midnight, everyone gathered to pray. "Tomorrow will be different," Ada said. "Tomorrow is Christmas." Daniel didn't say amen. He sat beside his mother and held her hand. "I'll be here when you wake up," he said. She squeezed his fingers weakly. "If," she corrected. He wanted to argue, but the words stuck in his chest. At dawn, the nurse adjusted the machine and frowned. Her breathing is labored. Daniel's heart began to race. What does that mean? "It means we should move her back to the hospital." "No," Ada said sharply. "She hates the hospital." The nurse hesitated. "We don't have a choice." They bundled his mother into the ambulance as Christmas morning light crept over the street. Neighbors waved, smiling, holding wrapped gifts. Daniel stared at them through the ambulance window and felt like he was watching another world. At the hospital, they waited. Time stretched thin. Daniel counted tiles. Ada prayed aloud. Their uncle argued with a receptionist about forms. Then the monitor screamed. Now Daniel stood frozen as doctors worked. A nurse gently pushed him into a chair. "Sir," she said quietly, "you should sit." "She prayed for this," Daniel said, voice shaking. "She prayed all her life. You can't let her die today." The nurse didn't answer. Minutes passed, or seconds, or hours. Daniel couldn't tell. Finally, the doctor stepped out and pulled off his gloves. "I'm sorry," he said. Ada screamed. Daniel didn't. He felt something inside him snap, clean and sharp. "She didn't even open her gifts," Ada sobbed. "We didn't even say Merry Christmas." Daniel stood up. "Don't," he said. "Don't say it." The doctor continued. "We did everything we could." Daniel laughed, a sound that surprised him. So did we. They drove home in silence. The Christmas tree lights were still blinking when they walked in. Someone had left the music on. Daniel reached over and switched it off. That afternoon, visitors came again. They hugged. They cried. They said things like, "God knows best," and "She's in a better place." Daniel snapped at one man. "Is that supposed to make me feel better?" The man looked offended. "You shouldn't talk like that today." "Today?" Daniel replied. "When would you prefer I be angry?" That night, Daniel stood in the bathroom and stared at his reflection. "You promised," he said aloud. "I kept my end. You didn't." No thunder came. No voice answered. Just silence. In the weeks after, Daniel stopped praying. He didn't announce it. He just didn't do it. When people bowed their heads, he kept his eyes open. When they asked him to lead prayers, he shook his head. Ada confronted him one evening. "You're acting like God killed her on purpose." Daniel replied, "Didn't he?" She slapped the table. "You're not being fair. I'm being honest." Months passed. Life moved on aggressively. Daniel got a new job. Ada got married. The house emptied. The tree was taken down. But something stayed broken. One night, years later, Daniel sat alone in his apartment, watching Christmas lights blink across the street. His phone buzzed with a message from Ada. "Do you ever think about that day?" he typed. "Every day." She replied, "I still pray." He stared at the screen, then typed, "I don't know how." He put the phone down and leaned back. He remembered his mother's voice. "Don't let them bully you." And God. Daniel whispered, "I survived." To the empty room, it didn't feel like a victory. Maybe the miracle wasn't that she lived. Maybe it was that he did. Or maybe there was no miracle at all. Just loss, and what people chose to build from it. Daniel watched the lights until they blurred. He didn't pray, but he stayed.